Okay, guys, and I do want to welcome you to this live stream as we speak. Hopefully, you guys can see this on all platforms. I'm hoping you can see this on all platforms. I am hoping if YouTube will ever connect. Says it is connected, so we'll see. We'll see what they do here and everything. I don't know if it is connecting or what. Hold on. It is setting up the stream. I do apologize for this right off the bat. I will probably have to chapter this a little bit so you guys can get right to the point here. Let's see. There it is. I don't know why it does this at times. I think YouTube's been having some issues lately. YouTube's been having some issues. Okay, so YouTube's up and running now. And now we're going to check the Twitch, if you will, because you are getting this multiply on both YouTube and Twitch. And then later on, you will get it on. You will get it basically on various other areas like VENMO and VENMO. Okay, well, good here. That's good. Just making sure it's telling me to check my encoder sections and everything. I guess that's causing an issue, but again, I will probably put a chapter thing there for you guys to check out. But first of all, I want to welcome you guys to this new live, as we're doing this tier list. Basically, where we're going to list off the various alternate designs and doubles of Sally Acorn from Archie, SatAM, Butler, SEGA, if you will. That is how we're going to do this, and I have to give a shout out. To Fight for Freedom, I think that's who it was, on Twitter, for putting this together. Yes, Fight for Freedom, I think, is the ones that put this together on Twitter for people to check out. And mainly what this consists of, ladies and gentlemen, is listing off the various designs of Sally Acorn here. And you could basically describe the categories as best you want, because default-wise, it's going to be S, A, B, C, and D, and F, if you will. So this was originally S, A, B, C, and D. But like I said, you can redo them all you want. And for me, I decided to basically say, put them in categories that once I list them, you might say, oh, I don't know if that fits well in there and everything. But to me, it fits. And everything, because, the way I look at it, that's just my opinion on how I feel about it. So here we have best of the best of Sally Acorn. Sally Acorn pre-Archie reboot, Sonic SatAM, Pink Sally early design, Sally of Different Worlds, and pre-production Sally. And as you can tell, you can pretty much figure out like who's going to go where and everything down the line. So, with that said, let's start off right here at the bottom. Now, you might say, why does Sally look like this, like a monster? This is actually Sally Acorn of, well, basically it's Sally Acorn of Archie pre-Archie reboot Sonic SatAM. That's what it is. That's who it is and everything. But this design was at a time when in the post-reboot, Sonic was going through his werehog phase, so he was just beginning it. Like, he had just fully transformed into a werehog, so he didn't recognize his friends at first for who they were, and thus he viewed Sally as a monster. So to me, because he viewed her as a monster, that put her into basically a different world, a different kind of alternate world scenario. So that is going to go in the different world, because if you look at what we're going to look into in the beginning here, as we go further up and everything, that will be Sally. You will see other versions of Sally being into that area. And I do apologize for the train in the background. It's almost like when you do a video and everything on a tier list, live or recorded, and something like that happens. It's almost like the conductor on that train is like, it's like his hearing's like really well, and he's like, ooh, I'm gonna interrupt. Beep, beep, and it's like, seriously. It's like, dude, that's not how, it's not how that works and everything. But anyway, like I said, getting back to the tier list here, just checking something. But yeah, like I said, Sally, because Sonic views her as a monster, we're going to put her in the different world category. This Sally here, we're going to move her up a little bit more. This Sally, to me, goes into best of the best Sally, because despite how you might feel about the redesign, I really think, in my opinion, that it was a blending of what Sally is to us, or who Sally was to us, as well as giving her a little bit more, well, I wouldn't say giving her a little bit more, because she had personality, don't get me wrong, but really just, it was a good, harmonious blend of who she was previously and what she could be and potentially became, all rolled into one. Basically, they gave her that style, which to me makes her one of the best of the best. There is no doubt about that. Here we have Anti-Sally. This is Alicia Acorn, not Sally's mom, but Anti-Sally, Evil Sally. And of course, she's going to go into Sally of Different Worlds. So we got that. Here we have Sally, but this is one of the earlier designs of Sally. When they were promoting Sonic SatAM for ABC to have on Saturday mornings, this was one of the designs they had for her, because originally they wanted to make it a blending, and you see it with Heads or Tails, that pilot. They wanted to make it a blending of basically, adventures and SatAM. SatAM actually was supposed to take on a more, I guess you could say, more of a different, what am I trying? SatAM, I almost lost my train of thought there. SatAM was supposed to take on more of an adventures of Sonic vibe. So that's why when you look at all these early pre-production artwork that they put out there, and you see these different designs of Sally, that basically is the indication right there. So we'll put her right here, and as far as different worlds go, I'm gonna rename that. I'm gonna say different worlds. Different worlds. Okay, I'm just gonna rename that. Instead of Sally of Different Worlds, it's going to be different versions of Sally. So I'm going to rename that right now, guys. I do apologize. I thought Different Worlds would work, but I'm just going to say different versions of Sally. So there we go. Different versions of Sally right here. Because, there's a lot here that's like, okay, this is different and everything, so we can look into that. And speaking of different versions of Sally, and I got the wrong thing up there, didn't I? Sorry about that. But yeah, this is the pre-production of Sally. That goes into pre-production right there. Because again, you look at some of the earlier concept promotional artwork. Again, as I was trying to say, they were trying to basically make it more of a blending of adventures in SatAM. And again, if you look at Heads or Tails, you'll see that. Here we have Sally, and this is Sally of pre-Archie reboot Sonic SatAM. This is when they were still doing more of the comedic stuff, but she is Sally, a pre-Archie reboot, Sonic SatAM. Here we have Sally as a kid, and I'm gonna say that goes under different versions of Sally, because even though that could go best of the best Sally, to me it's a different version of her before she grew up into who she was. And up next we have Pink Sally, early design. This was basically when the comic first started and everything, and she didn't really have a set color palette, if you will, for her design. So they went with the pink and pink fur and black hair. Thankfully they did kind of in her guest appearance in Knuckles, what was it, 29, I believe, issue 29. They did try to explain, hey, this is why she was pink and orange and all that. So yeah, Pink Sally, her design, and this is in one of the earlier issues where she is going to a costume party, but she's going as a witch, but she wants to go out and get her own stick to like serve as her broom, but she doesn't want no escort because she wants to prove, hey, I can do this on my own and everything. So that's that's part of the Pink Sally era. And here we have another Pink Sally. This is when Sonic went back in time and met the cave versions, the prehistoric versions of the Freedom Fighters. So we have Sally there. But you can also say that falls under different versions of Sally. So yeah, maybe it does fall under that. Even though it's pink, it does fall under a different version of Sally. This one right here with her in space, this one, it'll go right into Sally Acorn pre-Archie reboot Sonic SatAM. So, and that was in correlation before issue 75 when they were trying to figure out what the satellites, were and everything and who was behind it and such. So yeah, she's there and everything. And I do apologize for any lag on YouTube's part. I do apologize for that, guys. Again, just checking stuff here. But yeah, that does fall under that. Again, that's when they were trying to figure out who was behind the satellites, lights and everything, and what was their purpose. So she goes there, as well as this one. This is from the cover of issue, I think it's 74, which is I think it's issue 74. Bunny and Antoine's wedding. She's Bunny's maid of honor. Sonic is, Antoine's best man. So that's from that issue, and that's pre-Archie reboot Sonic SatAM Sally. This here goes into different versions of Sally right here. This is when they did an alternate universe story for an issue, and the group of Freedom Fighters here was a play on the Guardians of the Galaxy. And I think she was supposed to be like the Gomorrah of the group or something. So yeah, she falls into that category of different versions of Sally. And of course we have Sally of Fleetway, so she'll go into different versions as well, because what Fleetway was trying to do was they were trying to bring in some of the characters here, but also basically make them their own. So Sally was not a princess, she was a reporter and everything. So yeah, it's a different version of her Fleetway version. As well as this one, this is more of a SEGA Fleetway version of when Sonic first started. So there she is right there, one of the first versions of her. Then we have Pink Sally, early design. Of course, this is from this one is from Heads or Tails, the pilot. So that's going to go right here. So we'll put that there. Sorry about that. But like I said, we put it right there because because Heads or Tails again was the pilot episode of Sonic SatAM and was kind of giving us an idea of, it was supposed to originally be a blend of both adventures and what we got at SatAM until they took on a more serious note and everything. So there's that and everything. So, but yeah, that was her first design, the Pink Sally of Heads or Tails of the pilot and everything. And you can even see that design in the concept opening, the concept animation opening originally seen at CES one year or the year before. it was supposed to be in that design, so that that way the comic and the show can match up. But again, like I said, they went with a different version. Then we have Pink Sally here again, but this is Adventure Sally, and it's got Sally's traditional SatAM design that we came to know and love, but it's also a different version of her. So we're going to put her under that category because that's a adventures version of her. Even though it has a SatAM design, it has a pink color scheme, and it's a different take on her, and a different take on her and such. And also, like I said, you could look at it like an alternate version, if you will, alternate universe. So it's a different version of her altogether, even though it does bear resemblance to Sally later on. Then here we have these ones right here. These are the pre-production Sallys. These are the human versions of Sally. In fact, they came before this Sally, believe it or not. These two were actually based off of the original concept for Sonic having a love interest and such, because originally, Sonic, in case you don't know, was promoted with having a love interest named Madonna. And then when she got scrapped, obviously when they were working on SatAM as a show, or working on Sonic as a show in both areas, in both categories, they wanted to stick with the, they obviously wanted to stick with, the human concept, for him having a girlfriend. But then they're like, nah, it doesn't work. And I think that's why they went to this design, and then it slowly evolved into what we got. So these are pre-production Sallys right here, believe it or not. Then here we have Sally of a different world, different version of Sally. This is from, I think, issue 52. This is issue 52, I believe. And I'm just checking something there. But this is issue 52, where Sonic falls into a dimensional gateway or something. I don't know what it is. When he follows a fedora tux like outfit, and he follows it into a portal that takes him into a film noir like version of Mobius, and he meets this seductive femme fatale Sally right here. So that basically puts her in the category of different version of Sally. So there you go. On that one. And then we have here Sally. This is pre where'd it go? Oh, there it is. This is pre Archie reboot, Sonic SatAM Sally. Although some could say, well, you should put it here because that's not Sally entirely. Oh, it's still Sally pre-reboot, no matter how you look at it, no matter how you feel about how her character was written and portrayed at that time. That's still pre-Archie reboot Sally, Sonic Set, pre-Archie reboot Sally, if you will. That falls under that category of Sonic SatAM Sally, if you will. But again, I understand people didn't like how she was written at that time, but that's how it was. That's how it was portrayed, if you will. All right. Next up, we have from issue 29, Sally being roboticized. This falls under the different version of Sally. And this was basically, to me, the concept. This, to me, was the concept, if you will, that, that Ian Flynn took on and everything. Ian Flynn took on this concept, if you will. Ian Flynn took on this concept from issue 29 here. He took on the concept of issue 29 to where Sally would be roboticized. Because in issue 29, she had come up with the idea of, thanks to the suggestion of Bunny, to allow herself to be roboticized. But here's the thing. Originally, she was going to have like some kind of neuro overrider behind her ear that when she got roboticized would merge with her ear, would merge with her. Basically, the neuro overrider, once she got roboticized, would merge and become part of her and thus help her keep her freedom. That, unfortunately, that backfired, and she became a roboticized slave for Eggman for the duration of that main story of issue 29 until she got restored thanks to Dulcie and the de-roboticizer that they had found on one of Eggman's ships. So yeah, but yeah, her being roboticized falls under the different versions of Sally. This one right here is from obviously issue 225, and this of course does fall under pre-Archie reboot Sally and everything. This does fall under that, but I'm gonna put it under best of the best Sally, because this is a Sally that is going back to what we knew and loved about her, even with the sacrifice that she did not need to do, which caused her to get roboticized and then weaponized. This is the Sally that we all knew and loved, basically, straight to the point. So she's going under best of the best. Here we have another early version of Pink Sally. This is from one of the earlier issues, I think issue 201. So there you go. Then here we have Anti-Sally again, one of the earlier versions. This image is from one of the digest reprints of the stories. So we put her right there. Then here we have Sally of Mobius years later. 30 years, 25 years later. And you could say, oh, she falls under pre-Archie reboot, Sonic SatAM, and everything. Yeah, she does. But since it's a future Sally, and everything is, and everybody's always been back and forth about, about who, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Before we get to that, I almost forgot this one. This is another version, another pre-production version of Sally. Again, they were trying to go with the human concept, if you will, on that one. I didn't notice that one till now, so I do apologize. But that is another, pre-production Sally. Then again, getting back to what I was saying here with this one, this is Sally from Mobius years later. And again, people are back and forth about it, whether or not it's legit, it's not legit, what have you. To me, no matter how you view Mobius years later, this is, whether you feel it's canon or it's not canon, this indeed is Sally in my opinion. But because it's a different version of her, just like when she's a kid, and everything, it will go under the different versions of her, because here she's about, if she's like, 16 in the comics, and it's 25 years later, you're looking at 41 almost. Yeah, good looking 41, if you will. So she'll go right there in the different versions of Sally, along with this one, which is because it's the same character, just a different issue, different version of her, and there you go. And then, of course, this one as well. This one is actually at the beginning of an issue to where you look into the future and you see them, see her and Sonic married with the kids, but then they see this big old flash of light, and then what it looks like, and then for a brief period, what they see is the original Robotnik, and then, he just disappears. Because it takes place after an issue where it looks like he's been destroyed, but he's actually been, being transferred to interdimensional stuff and all that. But yeah, this Sally, if it's the same Sally as this one, falls under this category of different version of Sally. And then same, of course, with Mecha Sally, of course. She falls under that same category, as well as the first version of Mecha Sally, which again is from this issue and everything, which, as I said, I believe inspired Ian to do that. And then, of course, we have this Sally, which is the weaponized version, so she'll fall into that category as well. As well as this Sally, because you're thinking, oh, that's Sally. That's Sally, right? No, that's not truly Sally. What that was is a manipulational, a hallucination, a hologram put together by Eve to try to trick Sonic. But it's not really Sally. So because that's not really Sally, and this takes place after 125 when he's in space trying to get back home, she falls under that category. This one right here, I'm going to go with different version of Sally, because it's mainly what that is from. It's from the issue to where, because Archie Comics, just like any comic book publisher, would do these, they would do these random, they would do these, hold on for a sec, sorry about that, but they would do these random covers once in a while that would pay homage to different medias. And this Sally is from a cover that pays homage to One Piece. It pays homage to One Piece, so it puts her under that category of different version of Sally. As well as this one, this is from the season 1 episode Sonic's Nightmare, where he's having this reoccurring nightmare of not being able to get to Sally's aid or to save her before she's roboticized. And the end result of his nightmare is, of course, she's roboticized. So that makes her a different version. And then, of course, we're back to Anti-Sally again, which puts her right there. And then this, of course, is Sally at a younger age. So, but you could definitely tell there are remnants of Sally that we would come to know and love. So, I don't know where that's going to fall and everything, but I'm going to go with best of the best, because again, this is kind of getting close to what she is. Not entirely there yet, but it is, you could see, because this is basically doing Spark of Life, where we get the origin of how her and Nicole met and everything, or how she first discovered or first saw in the post reboot, because this is the post reboot take on it, of how Nicole got her Lynx form. So here you have Sally at a young age seeing this, but it's also like as she's progressed into a freedom fighter and everything, and well, there you go. So she's going to go in the best of the best category there, because that's when she first befriended Nicole in her Lynx form, and that friendship has become a little bit more in the eyes of a lot of folks. Here we have Sally as a child, playing games with her dad. That's from one of the earlier origin stories of the post-reboot era. But because it's a younger Sally, it'll go under there. Here we have from issue 130. That's right, issue 130, where Sonic comes back. This is pre-Sally, pre-Archie reboot Sally. So we'll put her right here and everything. So we'll put it right there. So, hold on, let me just switch that around. There we go. Make it a little bit more chronological. But yeah, this is Sally from issue 130 when Sonic comes back. Pre-Archie reboot. Sonic, SatAM Sally. Here we have Sally, as a young kid in Blast to the Past Part 1 from Sonic SatAM. But it's a different version of her that would grow up into Sally. But again, since she's like a kid like this one, it's going to go under that category. Then we have the earliest design of Sally, one of the early ones, the yellow hair, orange fur. That to me, I'm going to put that in different version, because it's not Pink Sally, which she became known for a while, but it is Sally, but it's a different version of her, in a way, different color scheme. In fact, I'll just put it right here at the beginning as early design Pink Sally. So we'll just put it in there, even though it's not pink. Then here we have Sally, a promotional one. This is definitely Sally SatAM, so we're going to put that right there. We're going to put that right there. This is pre-Archie reboot Sally, so we'll put that right there. This is from Stargazing. This is the first this is during the pre-Archie reboot. This is the original take on how Sally first saw Nicole in her Lynx form. And storyline-wise, continuity-wise, it's all based off another short story they did as a backup, to where Sally switched bodies temporarily with Nicole, and Sally ended up in the handheld form of Nicole, and Nicole ended up in Sally's body. That's how that came about. Here we have Sally pre-Archie reboot, and this to me is a representation of, well, I could put it right here. In fact, I don't know. Yeah, this is kind of a representation of, pre-reboot Sally, and I'm going to say, that's how I'm going to really say. I would put it in the best of the best just by the pose there, but I'm going to say that's still pre-Archie reboot right there as we speak. Right here we have another one. This is during the Iron Dominion arc, and it could go in pre-Archie reboot Sonic SatAM. But to me, this is when she was becoming best of the best again, so I'm going to put her right there, because that's when she was becoming the best of the best again. Here we have, from the episode Dulcie, Season 2, Sally of Sonic SatAM. We'll put her right there, and that's when she was in her pajamas and everything. Same with this one, we have Sally pre-Archie reboot. and everything. So we'll put her right here, which I think is pretty cool. Then we have Sally here. Again, this is the best of the best one because, again, like I said earlier, whether you like it or you don't, whether you agree with it or you don't, you know, they did good by her in the pre-reboots. They really did. They did good by her in the pre-reboots. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. They basically put her as a perfect blend of what we know into what could be considered a total package. Then here we have the earlier version of Anti-Sally. So that's going to be a different version of Sally category, as well as another version of Anti-Sally right there. And then we have Sally Moon. This is an alternate version of her, so we're going to put her there. This version of Sally is from one of the covers, alternate covers that was released during Christmas. So that Sally will be put in best of the best because you look at her face and you're like, well, that's definitely not Sally. But again, it's a combination of what made her beloved by fans pre-reboot, you know, in the comics as well as in Sonic SatAM, and what she was eventually evolving into, because you kind of see over time that she was starting to get a little bit more Sonic-y, if you will, personality-wise, before the reboot happened, and before her weaponization happened, I should say. You can kind of see that. So to me, this definitely falls into that category of best of the best. So here we have Sally here. This is a palette Sally. This is from the Silver Arc, where he goes into basically a more lighter, if not very dark, but lighter take on Other M, which was Ian Flynn's fan comic that he did. So he brought that into Sonic Universe, gave us what we got, and this is a different palette version of her. Here we have Sally. This is pre Archie reboot Sonic SatAM Sally, so we'll put her there. And that's during the wedding of Antoine and Bunny. Here we have Mobius years later, her marrying Sonic. This is 30 years later. Thus, it makes her a different version of Sally. Because, again, people are debating on whether or not that is Sally. Here we have Monster Kaijin Sally. This is from one of the super specials where Sonic goes into an alternate dimension where there's monster versions of his friends. So we'll put her there. This is here pre-Archie Sonic Sally, Sonic SatAM Sally, right there. Same with this one, if you will. And this one as well. This is when they started to get... This image here that I'm holding, this is when they started to get more into what her design is known for. But they still have a bit of that comedicness in there. Here we have Sally as a kid, so we could put her under a different version. Here is Pink Sally, but this is more Christmas Carol Sally, so we'll put her under there, even though she should be under pink. Kid Sally again goes under there. Pink Sally Christmas Carol again can go under there. This one right here, just the way she's thinking, you know, obviously this is her getting older. This is like almost preteen. So we could kind of just say that does fall under that category of pre-Archie reboot. Just because again, you look at her design as a kid compared to what her design is like here. And it's like, yeah, she's young, but you can kind of tell that that's almost like around 12, maybe 13 years old. And there you go. And the way she has that look, that's a Sally that's like ready to be leader. Now here we have her as Mecha Sally in a little quickie comic strip, if you will, a little quickie funny, if you will. So that goes there. Then we have Sally, Blast of the Past. That is going to go right here as well. You know, actually, this represents. I'm debating this, but this image right here is how they get the power, how they get the time stones to go back in time, and she's able to figure it out just like that, the riddle. So I'm gonna put that right at best of the best. Got to put that at best of the best. And then here you have Eternity Sally. You have Attorney Sally from an alternate universe. that goes right there. So yeah, it looks like different versions of Sally got more rows than I think anybody else. The one that got the second most is pre-Archie reboot Sonic SatAM Sally, and the one that came in so basically the top 3 that you got here are, in other words, the top 3 that you got here are number 1, different versions of Sally. Then behind that is Sally Acorn pre-Archie reboot Sonic SatAM. And then right after that you have best of the best of Sally Acorn. So yeah, it's like, and then of course the ones that fall behind, then the one that comes after that is the ones that fall behind after that are Pink Sally and pre-production Sally, excuse me. But yeah, that is my tier list on Sally Acorn's designs and everything, and where I rank them, or how I see them and everything. I know others have their own take on it, and if you do, let me know. Love to hear from you guys on that. But yeah, let me know down below. I will provide a link in the description for you guys to check out, if you will. I will provide that in the descriptions and all that on YouTube and on Twitch as well. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are overall. How do you feel about the designs and everything? Again, I will provide, like I said, I will provide the link at the end. But again, the one that got the most, in my opinion, design-wise, is the different versions. The different versions of Sally. And again, if you're wondering why this one is there, mainly even though that's post-reboot Sally, which again, to me, combines all the best elements of Sally and even adds a few character quirks here and there. That is when Sonic was going through his werehog phase, just beginning it, and he was viewing his friends as monsters. So basically viewing her like that put her as a different Sally, in my opinion. But overall, like I said, that won out as the most. Then behind that was pre-Archie reboot Sonic SatAM, and then right behind it was best of the best. But guys, give me your thoughts down below. How do you feel about it? Who do you think, honestly? Who do you think, honestly? Not who do you think, but what do you? Okay, let me rewind there. Okay, sorry, almost got tongue tied there. But again, let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Which design of Sally do you think is, better? Do you agree with my take on it, or what's your take on it? Again, I'll provide it down below and everything. In fact, let me do that right now so you guys can have this. Hold on. Hopefully this will appear everywhere else. There we go. But yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Love to hear from each and every one of you on this. What is your take and everything? And again, to answer that one question you put out there, I wish I could put it up there. I've tried to put the video up, but every time I do, it gets blocked. I don't know why. I think maybe because the song is a part of Christina Aguilera's debut CD, which has the song on there, but it's a Japanese exclusive. So I don't know if that might be it. But yeah, unfortunately I can't do it. But if I can, it'd probably be at VENMO. It'd be at VENMO if anything. But guys, that's all I'm gonna really say for right now on this tier list. Though, like I said, I provided the link down below so you guys could check it out. Hopefully, where you see it. But let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below. And everything, and share your own tier list on Sally's design. What categories would you rank them in? Are you going to follow mine? Are you going to do your own? Let me know. And until next time, guys, I will talk to you all later. Also, check me out at BW Rosa's Discussions Podcast, where you get all your favorite podcast affiliates. But mostly, check me out at Spotify, where you may get a video version of this there as well. Also, check me out at my Teespring store, or for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. Also, support me at patreon.com, that's BW Rosas. Check me out at deviantart.com at BVW1979, inkbuddy.net at BW Rosas, and at archiveofourown.org/bwroses98. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are overall. You know, what do you think of my my ranking on my tier list and everything? Do you agree? And until next time, I am out.